welcome back, gentle viewers, to this next match on Day 6 of the 10th Alliance Tournament. We have Fearless versus Capital Punishment, the two teams from this group that both won yesterday, looking to try to clinch their spot in the knockout rounds, and two very high-end setups. We do have a flagship on the field for Capital Punishment. They've brought a Vindicator, and then a Balgorn, which is their flagship, Proteus, Damnation, Aneros, 2 Enyos, and 4 Incursuses.
Yeah, and then Fearless has brought 2 Vindicators as well, also a Damnation, also an Oneros, and then a large wing of Assault Frag support. So these teams actually really similar outside of the Balgorn Vindicator trade-off, and then I guess the Proteus as well. But
yeah,
a lot of faction battleships showing up. Vindicators are close to each other. It shouldn't be too hard for damage to start happening quick.
We've seen teams very similar to this Fearless team come up 3 times, and they've always won so far. So this is a very, very good setup for them if they can manage not to burn out their highs. It's worth noting, Snake O'Donnell is in a Damnation, so he can burn out whatever highs he wants.
Damnation, least important high slots in the whole tournament. We are underway now. Looks like Vindicator's going after Vindicators to start things off, so we'll see who has the stronger tank.
As this match goes longer, it's going to skew towards Capital Punishment. The Balgorn has the newts, which over time are going to really, really reduce the power of the Vindicators if they can survive long enough. Because in the meantime, they already have a Vindicator at half armor, while the Vindicator for Fearless is tanking fine.
Yeah, Fearless has way more DPS to begin with, which makes them kind of have that early, like before the newts start to take a toll, they have the advantage. But the other thing is that it looks like the entire Capital Punishment team is under tracking disruption pressure, whereas there's no tracking disruptors at all on Fearless. And there's a lot of webbing going on, and the ships are really big, but that doesn't mean optimal scripts won't have an effect. So
yep, it's another great use of those assault frigs.
Vindicator down.
Yep, Vindicator down for Capital Punishment. I think the assault frigs that Fearless have are really the difference in this. They both have the 2 faction battleships, but you'll notice that because they brought the Proteus, Capital Punishment doesn't have a full complement of ships, and what ships they have down there, the Incursuses aren't as powerful as the Enyos and the Ishkars. They don't have as many mids for Ewar, they don't have the same damage, they don't have the same speed. If the Proteus... Oh, go ahead.
Sorry. I was going to say the Fearless Oneros is shield tank, so he's actually really under a lot of pressure. That's because the entire Capital Punishment Frag squad is chasing him around. And the reason they all have damage is that he's smart bombing them. And the Damnation is smart bombing them, actually.
Yeah.
So that whole kind of side plot's going on over there. It looks like Fearless is okay, though. He's really like close to breaking, that Oneros is. But as Incursuses start to drop, he'll get more
comfortable. The damage is going to reduce a lot. It looks like he's on reload. We haven't seen any boosts from him, but he's going down so slowly he may survive for the reload. And that Balgorn is already in half armor. Looks of it, this Vindicator for Larconis, the captain for Fearless, is probably going to survive at this point because the damage is being dropped so much for the Capital Punishment team. We're going to see a victory for Fearless, and, well, looks like a victory for Fearless unless something very dramatic switches, and another win for this same setup that uses very good use of the assault frigates. These Vindicator teams with the assault frigates are really the best Vindicator teams we've been seeing in the 12th man, I think.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. I think that 4 Enyo, 4 Ishkar is like the strongest support setup we've seen so far, and you pair it with the Vindicators, which are really strong on their own. It seems really, really good. Incursus has been dropping. There's only 1 Incursus left for Capital Punishment, only 1 Enyo left, and their Balgorn, their flagship Balgorn, keep in mind, which probably will have, what, 5 or 10 bill invested in it, is about to drop.
It'll really depend. We've seen flagships with almost nothing in them, with like an extra billion of modules, some that have in previous years like 20 billion. But we'll find out from the kill mail soon because he's about to explode.
Yep, there he goes.
So hopefully
that's
Fearless
flagship
will post
number
those
2 down for the tournament.
It is. We've seen 3 flagships so far, and 2 of them have died. Not the greatest success rate so far, but maybe some of these teams will use them better as we go. I'm sure Fearless, being the avid forum posters that they are, will have a post on the Evo forums with the link to the flagship kill mail any second now. Probably before the match even finishes. I bet these Vindicators have all tabbed out right now.
Yeah, so that Oneros barely surviving, that was a really interesting point. I thought that, of course, and I don't know, that's an interesting decision, and it's a lot of flexibility you get from having the assault frigs, but one really nice thing about them is if they don't have to be in that support fight, they add so much damage to your main fleet, which just means that you can burn through that logistics on the other side, take out the Vindicator early.
It's like having an extra Vindicator worth of damage. It's faster.
At least, right? Each one of those is what, like 200-ish?
You can get like
250?
you can get like 400 if you don't tank it too heavily on an Enyo.
Wow.
Like, it's ridiculous.
And a Vindy's going to be around. The armor Vindy should only be 900, 1,000. There goes the
like
Proteus,
maybe
by the way.
1,200,
So
but yeah.
only 2 ships left. Damnation Oneros, not the 2 most offensive ships you can field.
And we have the Aniros pulling back shields. He's not even boosting right now. He's just getting shields back from recharge. And this Aniros is going to go down very soon once these Vindicators. He's got all the Assault Frigs on him. They may even be able to take him down before the Vindicators get there with all the DPS that they do. As we saw in the PL match yesterday, these Assault Frigs by themselves can just shred a logistic ship.
Right. That's another really awesome thing about bringing all those Assault Frigs is if your Vindicators get locked down, if you're fighting against a kite team or something like that, and you lose a lot of the mobility from the Vindies, the Assault Frigs can easily handle
You can just win the fight with the Assault Frigs.
Yeah.
And let your Vindicators go to sleep.
Absolutely.
And now we just have the Damnation left for Capital Punishment. He's going to take a little while to go down, considering the big tank, but with all this DPS, it won't be too bad. And we're going to have a very strong win for Fearless, who, after beating Goon Swarm and now Capital Punishment, are going to be ensured a spot in the knockout rounds.
You know what? I think we're going to have insane Sunday matches next week. There's so many really strong teams. Like, Hun looked so strong this morning. Fearless is actually looking really strong, like serious contenders.
Surprising themselves, I think, more than anyone else.
Looks like that Damnation is tackled now, so DPS will start to stack up as those Vindies close in.
Yeah, we have been seeing some really excellent teams. Mildly Intoxicated, very strong.
Yeah.
And these teams are going to be all real chips or teams that can be contenders if they get the right matchups.
Absolutely. So yeah, the Vindicators caught up now. Just this one ship left to burn down. I wonder if we're going to see the kind of the meta going forward towards next weekend.
If people are going to try to either bring more Assault Frigs, try to bring counters to Assault Frigs.
Right.
One of the interesting things is one of the best counters for Assault Frigs is other Assault Frigs.
Right.
One of the great ways to kill Enyos is Enyos. So we may see a lot of these Frig battles that will come down to frigate piloting skill.
But do you think if people are really bringing heavy Assault Frig teams like this, do you think that pushes people more towards something like Slipner setups and away from the battleships or vice versa? I mean, there's a lot of options, right?
Slipners do a good job of killing frigates. What is great about a setup like Fearless's, the setup that PL used, well, it's very similar to PL setup, very similar to Test setup, is that you have the Sleipnirs, which are good at taking care of Vindicator, or the Vindicators, which are very good at taking down Sleipnirs, and the Assault Frigates, which are very good at taking down a lot of stuff that the Vindicators have trouble with. So they basically fill in each other's weaknesses. So it does work together very well.
I wonder if, in a way, I feel like we must have hit the points like just right. I mean, if you're having matches where you have like a little support division with the Damnation or Neros, you have a really cool Frig kind of side battle thing that you have in a lot of the matches, and then a lot of faction battleships. That's like ideal. It's a pretty cool setup. Anyway, this Damnation about to go into structure, and he won't last as long in structure as he did in armor. So.
And we're not going to get to see what comedy items are in the holds of these Vindicators this time.
So that's the match. Flagship down for Capital Punishment. They have to win a match on Saturday next weekend to make it into the finals day, right?
And now let us send you back to Soundwave while we switch to the forums and look for that kill mail.